Okay, we're back. It's Monday. It's 6:30 EST, and we're going to be doing our live stream once again. Today, instead of starting off with a review of a book, I'm going to be showing a 3D print of a character from your upcoming book that's coming out with Panic, which is called Razor Gray.
Yes.
The main character's name is Gino. We're not going to spoil it by saying anything that would give too much information away. But I did 3D sculpt in ZBrush the main character. Well, it's relevant. It's the same as one of the pages. Not the same, but more or less inspired by one of the pages that was colored by Lee Loridge. And we really liked the pose and the colors, and that inspired us to sculpt a 3D version of the character in that page and have it 3D printed, and then proceed to airbrush it and hand brush it. And it's almost finished. It's not 100% done, but we're going to show that instead of a book today. So I guess I can start. I'll go over there with the lights maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to go to the table and turn on the light. Okay. Oh, he's missing his arms. I'm gonna grab them. It'll take me 2 seconds.
Missing his arms.
Yeah, his arms. So the thing about his arm, the way that he can miss his arms is because we're gonna be transporting this model to conventions that we're going to, and we're gonna be putting it on the table, hopefully. And yeah, is it visible?
No. To the right.
So we planned it in such a way so that
Move it up a little bit.
up a little bit.
Yeah, that's
We
it.
planned it in such a way so that the extremities that are sticking out could be magnetically attached with a satisfying click. Ooh, drop that, but pretty strong magnets. Okay, and then there's also this helmet portion, which I have embedded magnets into so that it snaps onto itself.
Hey, Jamie.
As you can see, it's been airbrushed with this hot pink. The surface is
Do you want to
finished.
show the original, the page?
Sure, you can bring up the page on the right side of the screen. Is it tilted properly? Yeah, okay. There you go. So yeah, the page is
on the right.
Yeah, that is
on the
the
left side.
reference image. We didn't copy the pose exactly, but it was used as inspiration for this piece. This is intended just to add some, lively color and eye-catching structure to the table that we're going to have at the conventions. So hopefully I'll have this done by the time we go to Chicago, which is on the 27th.
I hope we'll have enough room on the table.
Yeah,
It's a big sculpture.
It's a problem. Yeah, it's big and it's mostly one piece. This does detach. The next thing that I need to do is create, so it's sort of like an icy environment. So I'm going to create a base that it looks like ice shards, and then that'll have the environment. The way that this was made was I had it 3D printed in resin. It is full, so it's pretty heavy as well. And then the surface was sanded so that it could take primer, and primed with a rattle can, and then airbrushed with purple and pink.
Maybe do a close-up.
Yeah.
Like move it.
Yeah.
So we can see.
So it's not entirely finished, but you can see the detail on sort of like the faces in the background.
The colors actually do look exactly the same as the original page.
Yeah, the colors, I really tried. So the purple is a bit darker, but I wanted there to be a bit more of a noticeable difference between the purple and the pink. Because on the page it's more subtle, which is also nice, but in real life to have it pop more. Yeah, so basically it's about 90% there. I need to do a little bit of slight highlighting perhaps
Mm-hmm.
and finish that. And then I'll seal it with a varnish and it'll be good to go. We'll pack it so that it doesn't break as well.
I have some other pages while you're showing
Yeah.
the sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Panic posted some other pages, so I can show this one as well. Another page for, so there's a thing in the comic where there's a 4D images, and it's kind of hard to explain, but I think you get it when you see it. So you see it here on the left and also in the sculpture, where you see a bunch of the same character over and over again. It's supposed to be as if time is space. So it's 4D, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That's my best explanation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good explanation. I could probably add a little bit to it. So imagine that each time whenever you move, there's like a snapshot of your motion and your poses spread out across space.
Yeah.
So you multiply. If you have like an animation, this is basically the way that you did it, right? You
Yeah.
just used an animation and then you froze each frame and added them
Sometimes
together
not for all of the images. This was done. The image on the left was done like without any reference.
with no
So
reference, yeah.
yeah,
So people turn into these sort of long worms of limbs,
yeah.
and you can see that on this page. It really sort of lends itself. It reminds me of, I don't know, there was some celebrity that I don't remember her name, but she had a Halloween costume, and when she was turned into this huge
Oh
worm,
yeah. What's her name?
Gwyneth Paltrow,
No,
maybe?
no, no.
No.
Heidi Klum, I think. Heidi Klum.
Either Heidi Klum or Gwyneth Paltrow, which are basically the same person.
So that's another page, and this is like not in a 4D. It's not one of the 4D sequences, but it's part of the story, and it was also published, but not published, like posted on Panic's social media. And I think they posted another one. I think it was this one. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this one. So there's a lot of flashbacks and scenes that depict some different locations. And this is funny because the original image that you see on the left, I did it a while ago, I think maybe 2022. So I've done a series of illustrations about the future of cities or architecture. And so I thought it fits the theme of the story in Razor Gray, so I used them. And there's a lot of them, like in the story. I think each of the issues, I think there are some of them, at least two, in each of the different issues. So I didn't have time recently to do a streaming
Yeah.
because I had to work on a new project and I can't show any of it. So it's a bit frustrating
Mm-hmm.
because I signed an NDA and I can't show anything from that project or even talk about it other than saying that I'm working on something. So I can't really work and stream my process doing that.
Yeah.
So So this is the next from last week. I think I've done the page before this one. So
Okay,
I
so
haven't
yeah.
done anything from, so this is from Helix Sky. So I couldn't work on it because I'm doing something else and I can't stream the other thing. So it's a bit annoying.
NDAs.
Yeah.
Your head is in the frame, by the way, just letting you know. Maybe the angle of the camera changed a little bit.
No, it's the same angle. Click. Is this the famous click?
Yeah, this time it's a Pepsi.
Who's here? Except of Jamie.
Jamie is here and says hi.
Yeah.
And let's check it out.
So there's a good thing and a bad thing about working on your own stuff. I can, obviously I can show it and I can do whatever I want because I own it. But there's no publisher yet, so self-publishing is it's not it's hard. But while I'm looking for a publisher, I can show whatever I want.
Yes.
So that's the
upside.
Yeah. But the other project is really cool, and I have a really cool idea for it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be very interesting. I started today, so they really liked the idea for the story. And today I started layouts already.
How many pages long is it going to be?
I don't know if I should say.
Less than 20?
That's not
Okay. I didn't realize it was classified.
I don't know. I guess I don't really know, but I signed an NDA, so it's better not to talk about it at all, I guess.
Okay, moving on to other subjects.
We can say it's gonna be cool.
The weather has been interesting recently.
Actually, it was interesting.
It has been interesting, yeah. Because it is now slightly above 0 degrees Celsius, but there's snow in the air. I can see it from here. I'm looking out the window, which is at least, I don't know, 15 feet away, and I can see that there's large snowflakes out there fluttering around.
And it says it's like 5 degrees.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. The temperature must have dropped in the past hour.
Maybe.
North America on the East Coast. I wonder if it's then the same in New York at the moment, more or less, the weather.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the same as in New York.
Well, it says
More
it's
or less.
13 degrees Celsius there, so
New York?
it's not the same.
No.
And it's also not snowing. And I guess there had been light rain today.
I think New York is a bit warmer.
Oh, well, it's much warmer. If it's 0 here and it's 13
No,
there.
I mean like
overall.
generally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess. It could be that the winter there maybe is shorter as well.
But I think this year they had like worse storms than us.
Yeah, it's only an hour and a half away by flight, and around 11 hours by bus. 10 or 11 hours.
Yeah, but yeah, there's, I think that the main difference is New York is on the ocean, more or less.
Yeah, closer to the coastline.
Yeah.
And here we have Lake Ontario, but that it's not the ocean, obviously. And it also froze over recently, so during the deep parts of the winter, when it's really cold, the top layers of the lake freeze over.
But it's not frozen now.
No, it's not frozen now, but it was about still maybe let's say a month ago or
We are
less.
actually talking about the weather.
Oh yeah, because you wanted me to change the subject quickly,
No, I
so
didn't want. We can still like talk around the subject
no, we
itself.
can't. If you can't even answer how many pages long it's going to be, then there's nothing we can say about it.
We can say
That's as vague
we can say it's gonna be
as it
cool.
comes. There's like,
It's
yeah,
gonna
we
be
can say it's
cool.
going to be cool. We can say
It's
it has visual potential that's really cool as well.
Mhm.
I'll put it that way. We can't really go into detail about it, but once we are able to, we will. Which is, I know I say that a lot, but I'm the first person who would love to tell fans everything about what you're working on, but we
Yeah.
have to keep the agreements and uphold that. So
But I did have some interesting news recently, so
yeah,
yeah, Razor Gray and the story with Rich.
we waited so long to tell you guys about Razor Gray.
Yeah, yeah,
At
that was
least a few
crazy.
months where we really wanted to say something, but
Yeah, because it was actually supposed to come out, I think in May, in March, but they postponed the publication of the first issue. So,
Jamie says that he finally posted his commission and paid the other day.
oh, cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, wow. Okay, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you're going to enjoy working on it as well. He says, I always look for your new art and comics. So, yeah, looking out for the new stuff that's being published. And he says, it has rained a lot here. We have had a bit of floods. I'm
Oh,
not a fan of snow. Actually, it did flood. I think last year there was flooding in Toronto.
really?
Because, yeah, it was raining more than usual. And there are some parts of the city where the drainage is not really equipped for large
Yeah.
amounts of water
Mm-hmm.
because it's not Vancouver.
Yeah, it's not really raining here almost at all.
Yeah, Vancouver, it rains. So on the other side of Canada, on the west coast, it rains incessantly, just all the time. And I think it's sort of like Seattle. It's also very close to Seattle. You can drive from Vancouver to Seattle by car, and it takes around 4 hours. So they're very close to each other. And Seattle is called the rainy city or the windy city, one of the two. I think the rainy city, if I'm not mistaken. It rains constantly there. It doesn't matter what season it is. I'm just checking, I think.
I've never been to
Yeah,
Seattle.
Seattle is often referred to as the rainy city or rain city due to its reputation for frequent light rain, drizzle, and overcast skies, particularly from October to June.
Never been. Have you been?
Vancouver to where? To Seattle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I visited Seattle. I was there for 2 days and one night with my sister, and we drove by car from Vancouver, actually. Vancouver to Seattle.
Probably 3 hours.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't take long.
I think Seattle Comic Con was 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
It's called Emerald City Comic
Oh yeah,
Con.
I've heard of that. It says Vancouver experiences an average of 170 rainy days per year. So that is,
That is a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah. It's
I think I prefer snow.
There is something to say. There is something that to be said for snow being preferred over rain because at least you're not
You're not
soaking.
getting wet.
Yeah, you don't get soaked. Yeah, rain also, snow also wets you a little bit because it
Yeah.
melts on you, but you're not getting soaked through and through, which is a different experience, right? Anyone who's ever had soaked socks in the cold will attest that it is not a nice thing to have happen.
Soaked socks in the cold. It's a name of a band.
Yeah, Jamie says we are getting the start of April showers here as it will be sunny, then go dark and rain. Yeah, it's the same thing here. I mean, there were a few days where it was above 10 degrees Celsius already, and the sun was out and it was nice. You could be outside with a t-shirt again, but then temperatures have sort of gone down again once more, and it's snowing again now.
Jamie, where are you?
In New York, right?
No, the UK.
Oh, right. Jamie's in the UK. So who's in New York? One of the fans told us that they were in New York.
Jamie, are you in London?
Whereabouts, more or less in the UK, what area are you situated in? You don't have to say the city if you don't want to.
Don't give us the full address. Even though
We're not trying to dox you.
even though we would need it, it's not. I'm not doing the shipping, so Tatiana would need it.
Right. So recently, but you had commissions that were inside of Canada, right? So you shipped it yourself or
Yeah,
something?
just once.
So
because it
that
wasn't
rarely
in
happens.
Canada. Yeah.
Usually Tatiana does the shipment of Near's art rep Tatiana Dykes. She's amazing, and she takes care of all the shipping of commissions and packing.
But I do need to ship her
Yes,
all the art.
the commissions need to be sent out to Tatiana, and then she takes care of final shipment to customers.
Yeah.
So, and Tatiana is in the US, so that would be a short distance or an easier leg of the journey, let's say. Not international anymore.
Why?
Whenever parcels or packages
Oh,
have
you
to
mean
go over the border,
you
it's
mean like
always a
in the
more
US?
yeah, it's always a more involved
Yeah,
process.
tell me about it.
Yeah.
Especially now after the Trump and the tariffs
Oh, this
stuff.
is it is insane. The
I
way
have
that
to like the way I need to fill out the forms to send stuff to the US. It's crazy. I'm using AI to help me understand whatever I need to
yeah,
fill out. It's so complicated.
it's insane. It's gone way overboard. Jamie says, I'm in the UK near Birmingham.
Okay.
I've never been to Birmingham.
I mean, neither. I think in the UK I only visited London.
I'm pretty
Couple-
sure
couple
same
of
for me.
times.
Yeah, I think I've only visited London as well. So Birmingham is landlocked. It's not like Liverpool where they're on, or Bristol or, Wales where they're on the water. Um, I wonder what it's like there though, weather-wise.
Cold and rainy.
Did you know that your laptop does this?
What's this?
It has a screen with numbers on it.
Yeah, I
I didn't
saw
know. So apparently there's
that. I
a
never use it.
you know how the mouse pad on laptops is a touch pad that you can sort of use your finger on as a mouse? Apparently it's a screen, this one. I didn't know that because it was always off. And if you press the corner of it, it brings up a numpad with, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the numbers and plus, minus, times, divided signs, and enter, zero, and
I
period.
don't think I recommend this laptop.
No?
It's okay.
I almost got one of these laptops, and then I remembered how much of a hassle it is and how
the problem with the laptop is they don't do them with enough sockets, like
oh yeah.
USB and
Yeah. So you have to use a hub, right?
So we have to use a hub, and a hub, all kinds of troubles
Why did you not,
comes with it.
knowing that, did
Yeah.
you not think about using a desktop computer or?
Yeah, but I think I decided to buy the laptop when we knew that we were gonna move, so I preferred a laptop. And it's not that it's bad, it's just it's finicky a little bit.
Yeah. There's all sorts of problems that happen that open up when you have to have a hub. The screen
Especially
stopped.
with the screens,
Yeah, the screen stopped working, and sometimes I think you had also a problem with like the cam link or something. It also wasn't showing up.
Camlink?
One of the cameras wasn't working.
No, but that's not
It's not for the
it's
hub.
not the
Oh,
same
okay.
thing. It's not related to
Mm-hmm.
the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, so Birmingham.
That's the last page of second chapter or second issue of Helix Sky.
It's the last page of the second issue.
Yeah, so I think it's page 40, 45, 44.
44. Okay.
It's cool. I have 44 pages ready.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Where?
By the way, I talked to Rich Dueck, who wrote the short that we've done together,
Yeah.
and he said he's going to start pitching it to publishers.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. The market is pretty harsh now, and it's kind of hard to find a publisher.
Mm. Yeah, I think
But
it's been the same in the animation industry. It seems like things are slowing down. At the beginning of the year, it was picking up a little bit, but now it's slowing down again, or at least that's my sort of view of things from the sidelines. I've only recently started freelancing in North America, so yeah, but I have been hearing that from local professionals that have been
yeah, I
working
think about it,
here.
it's different reasons, right? Because in comics, I think it's all related to the diamond thing.
Right.
So
I'm still not entirely clear on why Diamond going bankrupt would slow things down in the industry because there are other publishers that have sort of taken.
Diamond
And I
is not
meant
a
no, I
publisher, it's
know. I
a
meant a
distributor.
distributor. Yeah, there are other distributors that are doing.
Yeah, but they were it was a monopoly more or
Right.
less.
Okay, so that
So
explains it.
all the publishers that worked with them,
Yeah.
they like suffered a lot of damage
Mm-hmm.
because of that. And even like humanoids, for example, they also filed for bankruptcy
Yeah.
a while ago, but only for their American offices. They're still operational in
Overseas.
yeah, in France.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of smaller publishers that got very hurt badly from that whole thing, the Diamond bankruptcy.
Has there been a different distributor that has sort
Yeah,
of taken over for?
there's like the I think the biggest comics distributor now that people move to is Lunar, and there's other ones that are book distributors. For example, like heavy metal. When I worked on BioRipple, they worked with Diamond, and for bookstores, they worked with Simon and Schuster. And Gangnar, the publisher that's gonna publish Age of Canaan
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
they are distributed by Macmillan, which is one of the biggest book publishers. So they all went in different ways. Some went with Lunar, some went with other publisher. Also, there's also like smaller ones. Massive, I think they're doing distribution for indie stuff. But Diamond was like it was like the company that if you own a comic book store, you have a easy life because you are.
They did everything,
They
right?
did
They had
everything.
like all of the publications.
Yeah, you could just go to their website and order whatever you want and get it.
It would behoove some of the sort of smaller distributors to try to step up and take the place of
Diamond.
Of Diamond, yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
I think, yeah, I think something happened after they went bankrupt. I think it changed the industry to like smaller, fragmented distributor system, more or less.
Yeah.
And I think it's not stabilized yet. So people are very, very cautious.
Right.
About
ordering
especially
anything or
about working with new people.
Yeah.
Coming up with not mainstream ideas and stuff that is more.
Yeah.
Like, because my thing is not mainstream.
No.
So
it doesn't really affect you as much, maybe.
It does, because the publishers that are like the smaller ones, they are very cautious and they're afraid of taking risks now.
Yeah.
So it's hard for them to make a decision to work on a new project.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe Diamond could have given a heads up because it was so sudden, right? That was the thing that was disruptive. The sudden aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Had they given the industry a heads up, maybe there would have been time to sort of recalibrate and plan for the eventuality that they go bankrupt. But that didn't happen, and it was really sudden. I think
some people knew that there are problems happening there, but I remember, so I worked with heavy metal in 2020, I think from 2021 maybe to 2023.
Yeah.
Or 2022. And in 24 I think I'm not sure if they filed for bankruptcy. I don't think so. But they basically fired all the staff there.
Yeah.
Like the CEO was, I think he just left. But everybody else was fired. And it was also very sudden. I didn't know anything about it before. But now they relaunch with a different CEO, and they are doing Kickstarter and doing the magazine again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think Diamond as well, it still exists, but I think a Canadian company bought it, and they did, I don't know, maybe liquefied it, or I don't know.
Liquidated?
Liquefied.
Well, I mean, pretty close.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but I heard that I think a Canadian company that does mostly games, maybe computer games or video games.
Are you talking about Blizzard? Or
no,
Ubisoft
it's a distributing company, Canadian. You wouldn't recognize the name. It's these companies that nobody really knows about, but they are very, very powerful and important. Distribution company. They do.
Universal Distribution LLC.
I guess so. Yeah.
But I don't understand. So Diamond sold to a different company in May of 2025,
Yeah.
and then the company that bought Diamond filed for bankruptcy, or
No,
something
no,
else
no,
happened.
no, no. Diamond
They just
filed for
shut it.
bankruptcy, and then some other company bought them.
Okay, so if the company that bought them, didn't they continue?
No, I don't think so. I
So
think
they bought them and closed them?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't understand. Why buy them then? If you're not gonna continue on with the...
Maybe they bought them after the court did the whole thing about the money thing that they owed people, because people didn't get their money back.
But isn't that what filing for bankruptcy is about?
Yeah.
That you're not there, you're not able to be sued afterwards?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the reason they did it.
Okay.
But I'm not an expert on this
Yeah,
topic,
yeah,
so
yeah.
but I know was it was a very hard event to impact the
Oh,
comic
okay, I
industry.
see. It says that a Canadian company called Universal Distribution bought Diamond's game distribution arm.
Okay.
Just the game
Just the
distribution
games.
arm.
Okay.
So that's why the book or comic book or novel publishing aspect of
Yeah.
Diamond was ceased. Because I guess they only took on the game publishing arm, game distribution, sorry. Yeah. Well,
It is what it is.
it definitely is.
It's always sounds funny when
And it ain't what it ain't. Jamie
people
says,
say
I've
that.
only been to London twice.
Oh, really?
I wonder what those two occasions were, because only being there twice is a very small number of times.
I think I've been to London more than twice. I think 4 times.
When were we last there? Were we there together? I don't remember. Oh, I was last there when I went to see a
Yeah,
concert in
yeah.
which I created stage visuals. Yeah, I was flown out,
I
and
think it's a good connection from Europe to the US. So a lot of people stop there on the way.
yeah, definitely. There's a lot of stopovers there. Also, isn't it really supposed to be a relatively short flight to Iceland?
Yeah.
Flight duration from Toronto to Iceland is
Toronto.
actually further than more. It takes more time than I thought it would take. It takes 5.5 hours.
From London to
No, from
Iceland?
Toronto. I'm guessing it might be similar, when maybe a bit shorter from London. Direct flights from London to Iceland typically take 3.5 hours. Yeah, a little bit shorter.
This weekend, we're gonna go to Toronto Comic Con.
Yeah, we're not going to be
Tabling.
tabling at this Comic Con, but we are going to visit on Friday. And we will film our tour of the floor.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe. I mean, we will film, but depending on whether it was interesting or not, we might post it or not post it. Because I think it makes more sense for us to post when we are tabling.
Yeah,
and filming that.
For sure.
But we'll see if it is, yeah, because I think walking around with the camera and talking to the camera it can be a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
For you
For
or
others,
for
other people, and for me as well a little bit, because you don't get to really enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can walk around twice, like once with the camera and again for yourself.
I knew that it was going to be two interesting times, Jamie, because it was only twice. He says first time was a football match when I was a kid, and the second time was after the Queen died to pay respect.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it was pretty recent the second time.
Yeah, a few years ago, right? How long has it been now? 2 or 3 years or yeah, 3 years, 3 or 4 years by now. 2022.
So in Canada,
Yeah.
are you able to go to the UK and work there? I think there's a
Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I think for a limited amount of time you're able to. Can Canadians work in the UK? Yes, Canadians can work in the UK, but they generally require a visa. The most popular option is the Youth Mobility Scheme. Well,
Scheme? The
uh,
Youth Mobility Scheme.
yeah, scheme as in just
Okay.
operation order or function, allowing 24 to 36 months of work travel without a prior job offer. Other options include the skilled worker visa, which requires a sponsorship, or the UK ancestry visa.
Even though London is probably much more expensive than Toronto, right?
Probably. London is generally more expensive than Toronto, particularly regarding rent, which is notoriously higher in the British capital. While Toronto has high costs for utilities, groceries, and telecommunications, London's overall cost of living, including dining and entertainment, remains significantly higher than that of the Canadian city. There you have that.
There you have that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, so I'm wondering what the Comic-Con is going to be like.
Yeah, I heard it's the smaller one here,
Okay,
and Fan Expo Canada is the bigger one,
right.
and TCAF is the best one.
So we're going to
For what
be
I've
tabling
heard.
at TCAF, probably.
Probably we are,
Yeah, I mean,
unless we die before.
there's so much more that could happen aside from dying. We could just be sick, like temporarily sick. Why did you have to be so extreme?
I don't know.
Yeah, so we're planning on being there, and we probably will
By
be.
the way, if anybody wants a commission for TCAF, I don't know if Canadians know me. You think
Yeah.
so? Except of the ones that ordered commissions. I think there were two of them, probably.
From Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe two. But
I'm not sure.
I vaguely recall a Google AdSense sheet somewhere in my mind saying that Canada was one of the countries with your biggest audiences. I think the first one was Brazil,
Oh yeah,
and the
that
second one
was
was the
from yeah,
US.
I think it was from Instagram.
Instagram. Okay. Yeah.
What
Brazil
what's
being
the
number
name of
one
it?
is crazy.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I think New York was number one,
In
and
the cities, yeah.
And Brazil was number two.
But New York is a city and Brazil is the
Yeah,
country.
yeah. So maybe the US was number one and
Yeah.
Brazil was number two, and Canada was up there somewhere.
It was either 3 or 4, pretty sure. Yeah.
So if it's free, but it's on the Instagram, it's not very accurate, I guess.
Yeah.
But maybe I do have fans in Canada? And if I do have, maybe you want a commission?
Yeah, so commissions are officially open. You can contact Tatiana about them. I'm going to put her email up on the screen so that you have that. Let me just grab this for a second. So it is Notepad.
Commissions are actually very important for me because it's my main source of income.
Right.
Commissions and the selling of originals. It's funny that in the comic industry you make more money by selling the original art than by doing the comic itself.
Yeah.
But it's somewhat consistent through with everybody.
Okay,
more or
here
less.
it is on the screen. It's tdartsales, one word, at
I guess
gmail.com.
unless you're a writer. If you're a writer, it must be very hard to make money at first. It's basically impossible. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot of time to get to the point that people know you.
As a writer, I imagine it would take even longer, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you can't do anything because you can't sell art.
Right.
Must be harder.
Yeah. Writing has always seemed like a profession in which you have to be already financially equipped to deal with not having any income for a long stretch of time. To me,
Yeah, at first.
at least, well, if you have that much money at first, then I guess you don't really need to work. You more want to work.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong. I mean, there are different types of writers.
No,
There's
but
people who write for television.
But
there's
you can
people...
write and have a day job, so that works as well. I had a day job until
recently.
Very recently.
Yeah,
so
up until 6 months ago. Yeah. So I think you had worked
7
at the
months
company
ago.
for over 15 years, if I'm not mistaken, or roughly 15 years.
I think 2010 to
2010 to 2025, so 15 years.
Yeah.
At the same company. It was an architecture firm. So that was your day job. And then on weekends and evenings, you worked on your graphic novels.
But then after a few years, I think after maybe 3 years, I went to a 4-day week on my day job.
Right, yeah. And then
I basically, that my boss really liked me.
Right,
So
yeah.
he accepted anything I wanted.
Yes.
So I basically said, I'm gonna work for 4 days, okay?
And he said
And
yes.
he said yes.
And then I think a year or two later, you
and
said
actually my salary wasn't
was the
changed.
same,
Was
right?
the same.
And then I think
After
maybe a
few
year or
years,
2
after
years,
that,
yeah,
I told him I'm gonna work for 3 days.
a week, and he was fine with it.
Yeah.
And he also kept your salary the
Yeah.
same as well.
Exactly.
So it was like getting a
I
raise.
don't think he was fine with it. He didn't like it, but he didn't have a choice. He basically said, I'm gonna work for 3 days a week. And then I had most of my time there. I had 2 days a week that I can work on my comics.
Right.
In the weekdays.
Right.
But I also worked in the weekends.
And every evening, I think, as well. During the week.
Yeah. But not a lot. Like in the evenings.
Yeah.
It's hard doing that.
To stay concentrated.
Yeah. After a work day. But I found out that if I sit with the Wacom, with a tablet in front of the TV, it kind of puts me in a different mental state, and it's more like relaxed time, but I'm still able to do some some of the work. I can't do, I don't know, sketching,
Yeah.
but I can do layouts, but I can color, and I can do maybe finishing up some images or doing the less mental work,
Mm-hmm.
like the work that is more easy, I guess. Mostly coloring, like and watching something in the background. So
Yeah. Have you seen the comic book The Infinite Vacation by Image Comics? It came out 2013. It's worth checking out.
no, I haven't. By who's the creator?
Yeah, who is the creator or what is it about? The Infinite Vacation. I think I might have heard of that at some point or on YouTube or something. Oh, this looks cool actually.
Who's the artist?
Um, Artists, creators are Christian Ward and Nick Spencer.
Yeah, I know Christian Ward. Nick
And
Spencer.
it says, "Welcome to the Infinite Vacation, where changing your life is always just a click away." Mark lives in a world where alternate realities are up for sale, and buying and trading your way through unlimited variations of yourself is as commonplace as checking your email or updating your status. But when other hymns start dying suddenly, and he meets a mysterious girl who wants nothing to do with life changing, he'll learn the truth about the universe he stumbles through and what happens when your vacation turns on you. So, yeah, you basically upgrade your life online or digitally or something like by buying into an alternate version of reality.
Sounds like a Black Mirror episode,
Yeah, it does actually.
but it was done before, right?
2013, yeah, I think this is. I don't know when did. Hey, Jillian, how are you? Good to see you as well.
Hey, Jillian, what's up?
So, I don't know when you joined the live stream, but we started off with showing a 3D printed and painted version physical sculpture of Gino, the main character of Nier's upcoming Razor Gray with Panic. And then we spoke about the weather a little bit. Because there are still projects.
Do you want to
Yeah.
maybe show the post that I made on Razor Gray?
The post itself.
Yeah, because I think
Some people don't
I
have Instagram
I'm
or.
not sure if I can say more than they actually posted about.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But yeah, we haven't really said anything else. We just said a name of the main character. That's it. Um, yeah, and the character also appears on the cover, and that was in the post. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, and they also showed some images.
Yes, I'm gonna show the post on screen momentarily. Here we go. So this is the post.
But there's a newer one.
Is there a newer one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, this one has the
This one, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it says here, let me just get this centered. Time to panic. On an icy planet, an ambitious architect investigates alien relics. What he discovers will alter the course of human history and unleash the dangers of curiosity. Razor Gray by Levie, with colors by Lee Lowridge, features some incredible splash pages, and we couldn't wait to share them with you. And now I'm gonna just go
You
through.
should have done the trailer voice. In a world.
In a world, in an icy world, one architect These are, yeah, I'm guessing it's going to show up pretty small on the screen, but
Oh, the images, you can show the images. I think they're open
okay.
on the, yeah, you can,
Here?
yeah.
There's some of the
These
images. So
ones.
we showed this one before when we started the live stream today. And this is another one of the images. Let's see if I can.
It's gonna be 4 issues, so I think and each one has 30 pages, I think.
I
more
love
or
the
less.
cats. The cats are so cute.
Yeah.
I really miss cats.
Me too.
It's been a while since I've seen an actual live cat. Oh,
I've done a story about a cat.
yeah,
That's-
yeah. I love the fact that the sign in the background says buy stuff to eat.
Yeah.
It's just literally saying, it's not beating around the bush, is it?
I have a mental state that I'm in when I'm doing when I do the backgrounds of the images.
Oh,
So I'm looking for ideas for stuff to draw in the backgrounds. And recently I started using AI because it's hard to think about ideas for stuff when you're drawing. So I just type on ChatGPT, give me I don't know, ideas for stuff to draw, like garbage in the background.
yeah.
And then it says half-eaten apple or anything like that.
Right.
But sometimes I just write whatever I think at the moment. So I think this was done in probably 2022,
Okay.
maybe even before that. I can see that because my style changed a little bit from there.
Yeah.
For example, here I didn't use the dotted lines, the dashed lines.
Well,
at
you
all.
sort of did a little bit
Just a little bit
on the
but I
edges
didn't
of
do
the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jillian says, I just noticed that this stream is named Silent Stream, the same as Near does in the morning, and the Q&A stream still appears in YouTube as starting soon. So I guess we mixed it up somehow, and we started the Silent Stream instead of the Q&A, the
I was sure
live stream.
I was sure I
Because
switched
live stream Q&A, yeah, it's not showing anything. It's showing coming soon or waiting for Near Levie. See, it says that. So I guess the wrong one was started. I didn't press it this time. I don't know.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. Maybe we can change the title afterwards.
Yeah, I can change the title afterwards.
But it's harder for people to find it though, I guess, maybe if they were looking for it.
Yeah. I don't know why that happens, because I was sure I chose the right.
I think we need to change the thumbnail so that it's not just a different color and it actually looks way more different. And then it'll be, because it looks more or less the same as the thumbnails that are the silent streams.
Yeah.
And then it'll maybe be more difficult to fumble it.
Oh no, it's when I do the stream itself, on the OBS, you choose the stream or the OBS itself, so you don't see the thumbnail.
Oh, you don't even see the thumbnail. Okay.
No.
Yeah, so it says there's one person waiting in there, by the way, because it says one waiting. So there's a person that's still waiting for it to start.
Maybe it's open on a different window.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not us. Not open.
You can say there in the chat that we're on the.
Yeah, I guess I could. But what is the other one though? I guess
you can copy the link.
I don't know what the link is though.
This one.
Oh, this. Okay. Let's do that. I'm just gonna let that One person waiting, no. Or maybe I can take it down.
You can.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. I don't know how to do that. Well, I'll just leave it alone.
But you can write on the
Hmm.
chat there. Maybe paste this stream's link.
Right.
And sorry, everybody. It's probably my fault. I wasn't paying attention. And I think it's related to the fact that we changed the system. I got used to Restream. I used Restream like for, I don't know, maybe five years, more or less. But then I realized that nobody watches Twitch at all. So I used Restream just to stream to Twitch and YouTube. And I don't think, do you think somebody used Twitch before? I
I've
don't
only
know.
ever
I don't think.
seen one person that
Yeah.
used Twitch. I'm pretty sure it was Rob, right? Maybe?
I think Rob, I think I saw Rob here.
Not
on YouTube.
recently, though. Have you seen him recently?
No.
Yeah, ever since we turned the switch off. Twitch, I haven't seen Rob.
Yeah, do you think he was on Twitch?
Maybe, it's a possibility. I don't recall if we
saw him
gave notice.
We saw him in person, right?
We did, yeah.
In New York.
Yes, yeah.
So now that I'm using OBS to stream directly to YouTube,
yeah,
I'm still not used to the way it works. So that's the reason we are having some difficulties.
Mm-hmm. How do you guys feel about moving or relocating for a new place to follow your career or to find better art and life opportunities? Well, we just did that 6 months ago. So we moved from the Middle East to Canada. I was born in Canada, so it was sort of easier for us to get our footing here. And technically, it was the best option. It does have its difficulties and complications or complexities.
The move itself?
The move itself.
Or because we had like other options, because I'm a Dutch citizen. I have a Dutch
yeah,
passport.
as in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't speak Dutch.
Neither of us speak a lick of Dutch, so we would have to.
And even my father, who is Dutch, his Dutch is not really good.
Yeah, he knows words and phrases, but I don't think that he can carry a conversation.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure, but I don't think so. And yeah, it's not an easy language to pick up, but I think
actually it's not supposed to be a hard language.
It's not as hard as like Mandarin or Mongolian.
Yeah, but obviously English is.
Yes, it would be easier to pick Spanish up or Italian from English, right, than it would be Dutch. But so having said that, it is also refreshing. I would recommend to do it at least as a trial, especially if you're, let's say, younger than 35. I think it's easier that way. You're not as set in your ways.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the age. I think it's the children.
Right.
If you have kids, it's going to be much harder.
Well, that also depends on the age of the children. So I think if the kids are under 5 years old, it's easier to move with them. Well, not the moving itself, but having them acclimate to a new place, especially if it's a new country or a new language. It would be much easier if they were under 5 or 5 years old. But I think, so having moved when I was 13...
But even if they're under 5...
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard for them
in the
I think.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they naturalize much faster at that age, and they tend to not even remember most of it afterwards. Um, Having said that, with the difficulties aside, um, definitely different
Because you did
places.
it twice, right?
Well, the first time it wasn't really my
Choice.
decision. Yeah, it was a decision that was made for me and my sister and I. I was 13 at the time, or 12 and a half ish, and my sister was 10. And we definitely, it wasn't easy in the beginning, but it was easier for her. So the younger you are, it is easier for the kids. And then the second thing I wanted to say was there are definitely different opportunities in different countries and different cities. So that's not a made up, it's definitely a thing. There are places that you would go to if you're looking to get into fashion, and there are different cities that you go to if you're looking to get in, be more involved with the art scene, and culinary cities that have more food options, and you can go to study there. You would go to a different place if you were a physician and they needed doctors. Um, yeah, we scared about moving. So I it was a mixture of being scared about being able to acclimate and how it would affect one mentally. That's always something that is there in your mind when you're going through such a major, or making the decision to go through such a major change.
Yeah, but I
So
think for us there's the thing that you're Canadian, so you
yes,
were born and raised here and you have family here.
yeah.
So it's not like we moved to a foreign country.
I think it's also very easy to live in Canada. Well, I mean, at least in the big cities in Canada, um, in the sense that it's very relaxed, it's very safe, it's not as expensive as other places, even other major cities that are surround this area. Um,
Yeah, it's actually much cheaper
it's cheaper,
from
yeah,
where we came from,
yeah.
which is funny.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I think when you make the decision, if you have a goal in mind and you've researched your goal and you have discovered that there's a higher likelihood of you reaching that goal in a different location, and you make the decision, you just have to really logically and emotionally accept it fully and then go for it. And give yourself a time span of 2 years,
But
three
you would
years.
think that in our world right now,
Yeah.
it wouldn't change a thing. The location is it's not supposed to be as important as it is because we have the internet and everything is so connected and you can Skype and not Skype, Zoom and video conference, do everything online.
Yeah.
And a lot of the workers actually work from home right now, even here.
Yes, that's true.
So you would have thought that it wasn't as important, your location, but it is. It actually is, at least for my occupation.
Yeah, I think it is for a lot of occupations, but yeah, that ties into Julian's next question, which is what's the best city to move for illustration industry? I would say, first of all, I'll preface it by reiterating what you just said, which is that a lot of work is done online and a lot of meetings are held online, and you can, as I personally know, work with a company and basically never be in the same room with them, just conduct everything digitally, and it works well. And that's what the world has discovered since lockdowns and COVID, that it can and does work well.
Yeah, but still,
But still,
if you're not a freelancer,
right.
then you have to
If
be
you're if you're looking for staff positions at companies / also freelancing opportunities that are local. I would say for illustration, New York definitely. I would say Berlin.
I don't know. For it depends. Illustration is very
It's broad.
broad.
So, but in a broad sense, I'll
Are we
answer.
talking book?
Well, I'm gonna
books?
answer in a broad sense as well because there was no connection to specifics. It was just a general illustration question of where it might behoove them to live. I would say New York City has a lot of opportunities that are related to design and illustration. I'd say London definitely has been known forever to be a city in which you might find design and illustration jobs and cover jobs and all sorts of work in that field.
I think the best thing to do is actually find if you're starting out, find a day job that
Yeah.
works for you, that you can still do
Mm,
illustrations and like pay the bills.
definitely.
Because at first you're not gonna make any money.
Yeah.
And then probably do a self-published book, maybe children's book if you're looking for that work. But so illustration is very broad. There's a
Right.
lot of illustrators, for example, in the tech industry,
Right.
a lot of them.
Like biotech.
Not just biotech, like in tech companies,
Yeah.
like for not just for games, also for
Manuals
yeah,
or
like every tech company has illustrators and
yes.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for that, there's places that are they have like a big tech environment,
Yeah.
like in the west coast of the US, also here in Toronto,
Yeah.
for example.
Yes. Definitely.
But for books, like there's a big industry of illustration for children's books,
Mm-hmm.
but these are all freelancers. There aren't any like staff jobs for book illustrators.
Right.
Not that I know of.
Well, if there are, they're few and far between.
Yeah.
There won't be many of them. There'll just be a handful.
So for this, you actually need to be a freelancer, and you have to like invent your careers from the get-go, from the start.
Perhaps you could let us know what type of illustration you're looking into or already have begun researching to be a part of. That could help us a little bit to narrow it down. But yeah, I'd say broadly, the places where illustration is mostly staffed and
I think in the
done.
tech industry, I
Yeah,
think.
it would be tech industry, it would be
Which is like illustrators in the tech industry is something in between an illustrator and a designer.
right. Yeah. I'd say the big cities are your best bet. So
Yeah,
in
probably
Canada, it would
for
be
anything.
Vancouver, Toronto, and basically like maybe another one or two cities. In the US, it would be New York. In California, the big cities that are there, Los Angeles and
San Francisco.
San Francisco would be another one, possibly Seattle as well. In the UK, it would be London, basically. Berlin in Germany, and obviously in Japan, Tokyo, but there are a lot of Japanese artists, and I think that it's a bit harder culturally to break into the Japanese work environment as an outsider, which I know because one of my best friends lived and worked in Tokyo for years, and so he has the experience and has reported his personal experience as well as other foreigners working there that
Yeah,
he
but
knew.
he got there from the company that he worked.
Which should make it easier, right?
Yeah.
But it was hard still.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're less used to accepting foreigners into the fold. It's less a place that tons of people immigrate to, Japan.
Yeah. I think
and
it's hard to
it's
immigrate in
harder as
English.
well. Yeah, and so the language barrier is serious. It's not like going from English to Spanish or from Dutch to German, which is, I guess, they're easier transitions, or moving to a country in which the primary language isn't English, but most of the population speaks English well, like the Netherlands,
Yeah,
or I'd say like Amsterdam, at least the city.
yeah.
Japan, I don't know that many people are fluent in English.
But also, we're not experts
No,
in
this
illustration.
is, well, you've asked us a question, so we're giving you the best answer that we can, but this is definitely our take on it or our experience with it.
Yeah, my job is basically maybe overlaps a little bit illustration, but it's not illustration per se. So the comic industry is different. But I know that the children's book illustration industry is very big,
Hmm.
and if you have success there, then you're gonna make a lot of money.
There's some really good questions today. Seriously, Jillian, these are excellent questions, and important, I think, as well. We're going to address every single one, so we'll take it one at a time. Jamie said, I'm in a part-time job and I do my art in my spare time. I sold t-shirts, not teachers, t-shirts with my art on and worked with a brand and did their art for their social media. I am slowly working on my own comic project. I knew that about the t-shirts because we
That's very
discussed it.
cool.
It's very cool. That's a
I
good.
didn't know that.
I
I
knew.
want to see.
Yeah, definitely send us. You can put it in the comments or paste it in the chat or wherever we want to take a look. So definitely let us link us to that. And then Jillian says, when relocating to a new place, do you find it easier to make new friends with people who share your culture or with people who share your art ambitions and hobbies?
For me, it's easier with hobbies and art.
And art, right?
Yeah.
I think I'm more of an outgoing person than Nir is. I'm more, I tend to socialize more and create situations in which, so I would start talking with people that I don't necessarily know that well and then get a repertoire with them built and sort of like develop friendships in that sort of organic way. Oh, a thing that has been amazing has been climbing. So we're both climbers. I used to climb outdoors for many years and even do like trips to in Europe, in and around Europe to climb outdoors on cliffs, lead climbing. But we both at the moment climb indoors. We do bouldering, which is short climbs that are ranked in graded in a system that gives you sort of like the easiest climb to the hardest climb. And they can be very challenging, and there's different styles. And that has been the best way for me to socialize and meet new people so far at the climbing gym. I think it's more so than a regular gym. Climbing is more specific and it tends to attract a specific type of person as well, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of
Mm,
tech industry workers in climbing. There's a lot of
yeah, but I think
science, like
the tech
STEM
industry
people.
was because where we lived
Hmm.
was a city that has like a huge tech
Oh, but it's
industry.
the
Yeah.
same here as well. I've talked to many people, and there's a lot of IT people, programmers. There's a lot of STEM people in science and technology.
I guess maybe you need more money to have
Yeah,
this.
so that's the thing. It tends, so if the more specific the hobby is, I think the greater the potential for connection with the people that you meet doing the hobby, because right off the bat you have more in common when it's more specific, right? So as opposed to just going to the gym, everyone goes to the gym. You get all sorts of folks at the gym, and I guess you have less in common with them right off the bat. It could also be a sociable environment, but you are better off doing things that are very specific. So not just workout, but climbing as a sport, or I guess like pole dancing, or anything that is way more, yeah, specific. That's that word again. Um, if it's as far as hobbies go and not sports, I have been into sort of like model building lately. I've been doing some Gundam building and just various different robots and characters. And I discovered that every major city, I guess, is the same. In Toronto, there are little groups that meet up once a month or 2 times a month at various stores, and they have tables out and they just build together. And it's called like Build Day.
It's called nerds.
It's called Geeks, yeah,
Geek.
which I love.
Yeah.
And people just nerd out together on whatever topic they like. And you can teach things and learn things from other people and just get to know like-minded individuals in your area. So
But I think it's also hard for us specifically to find like people that are from the same background as ours, so it's basically impossible.
what kind
Yeah.
of background do you mean?
Like where we're from, our culture.
You don't
and
need
stuff.
to make friends with people that are from where you're
Yeah,
from. That
I
I'm not
don't believe
interested
that as well.
in that. I actually invite as much diversity as possible because
Yeah,
I
but
guess it's more
I
interesting
think
that
I
way.
get it because I think it makes the stuff that are in common for you and the other person to be more profound because you're both sharing an immigrant um, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. You're both immigrants and you have a shared culture, so
Yeah.
it makes it easier to connect that way.
Yeah, I guess that's a viable way of looking at it and going through it for
But
sure.
still, if you find something that shares your culture but doesn't share any of your interests, you're not going to be friends with
No, yeah, it's not
the
enough to just
person.
be from the same place.
Yeah.
But definitely you can befriend people from all over the world that share your same interest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably better or
Yes.
easier even.
Do you feel like art and improvement in art can be compared to climbing and fitness? It's often compared to working out, for example, practicing inking as a form of muscle memory building.
Yeah, I think it's very
Definitely.
similar.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think definitely. Specifically, climbing is goal oriented in a way that just trimming down and building muscle is not, because it encompasses that aspect as well, which is being fit for climbing and having your weight and musculature developed and in a good balance for that activity.
But I think
But
if
there's
you
also the grades as well,
yeah.
and you're trying to complete more climbs on at higher grades and be able to have a bigger variety of styles that you're able to climb. So I definitely think that a lot of people are very sort of geared towards improvement when they climb. I don't see many, it's only the older generation, which is wiser, obviously. And you see them sort of come in and just climb whatever feels like it looks like an enjoyable experience to them, reading the routes from the mat, and they just select something that seems fun. And they're not necessarily there to feel good about getting better all the time and improving constantly. But that takes a wiser mindset, I think. And
Do you think it wiser to
I
not
think
try to
it's
improve?
I no, I think it's not that trying to improve is not wise. That's not what I'm saying. But I think that being content with enjoyment in your hobby slash sport
Hmm.
is it that takes more experience.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with defining enjoyment. So
Hmm.
I think it's more enjoyable for me when I fail on the way to
Oh,
success.
that's interesting because then when you do succeed, it seems like you
Yeah.
gained more. You covered more
Yeah,
ground, I
I
guess.
actually wrote a story about this.
Yeah.
that's gonna come out. That's another thing that I can't really talk about yet, but it's already done and it's gonna come out pretty soon. I don't know when, but it's about this idea that um, when the society gets more and more solved, quote unquote, like more and more stable.
Okay. Society.
Yeah, society. The individuals are starting to be less and less defined.
Less pressured into creating their own identity.
Yeah, the identity kind of dissolves
Mm.
because
Interesting.
there's no conflict.
I guess it's sort of like
So
diamonds, right? You need the pressure in order to turn carbon
yeah,
into diamonds.
yeah,
If you don't have the pressure, it doesn't do that phase transition. It doesn't transform,
yeah, that's a good metaphor for that.
I guess. Or like boiling water. You can't make a, I don't know, coffee or a
And
tea with
I
cold
think
water.
there's a lot of problem. So there's a lot of things that aren't solved in the system that we live in, but a lot of the stuff is better than the past past years, and I think it hurts the identities of people. I'm not saying that we need to keep things unsolved or not address problems, but I'm saying we have to start thinking about this as well. Because as we solve more and more problems, and I'm talking about very broad issues like maybe health issues and equality issues, for example, because actually my best metaphor for this is I thought about it today at the gym. It's about entropy.
Yes, yeah.
So the maximum entropy is when everything is equal.
Is the same. Yeah.
Everything is the same.
It's complete homogeneity of space.
And there's no conflict at all.
No. Nothing
So
can...
think about like maybe dropping a drop of ink to water, to a glass of water.
Yeah.
So
In the beginning,
it's
you can visibly see the difference between the swirls of water and ink.
yeah.
But the more time that passes, the more they sort of, every part of the solution, the liquid solution, is the same as every other part, because
and
basically
it's the maximum entropy
yes,
for that process.
yeah,
And the maximum entropy causes problem in defining self-identity
well, I
for
mean,
people.
if it were physical, like chemical maximum entropy, you couldn't
There's no
have living
difference at all.
you couldn't have a living
No, I'm
system,
talking
right?
about like the society that is very like I'm using the word solved, but
Right.
maybe it's not the correct word
I
to
guess like
use.
mature, or not even mature, but maybe stable.
Stable,
Stable
maybe.
maybe is a good word. I know what you mean though. Jillian says, how do you feel about art as a form of therapy? Not necessarily art therapy itself, but more of using art for self-healing, gaining confidence, tapping into new parts of your brain.
It's a complex question because I think everything can be a therapy. So art, of course, art can be a therapy.
I think it more
It can be
depends on the
therapeutic,
person, right?
but I think everything can be therapy for everyone can find the thing that makes them, that helps them, I don't know, relax and be better. So it, of course, it can be art, but
Yeah.
if you're looking for a career in art, then you need to think about it differently than therapy. Because therapy, it becomes more like something you do to relax.
Mm.
And if it's your job, it's not something you do to relax. You have other motives
Yeah.
to do art. it doesn't mean that it's not relaxing.
Generally, I would say that I agree that anything could be therapy for a specific swath of the population, but it depends who you are. So you have to test things and figure out what helps you. It could be knitting, it could be painting, it could be swimming, it could be singing,
If you're
or
allergic to paper, then don't do art as therapy.
yeah. So it definitely depends on who you are. It's definitely a legitimate avenue for specifically inclined
Yeah, but
individuals.
I wouldn't think about it like that if I'm looking for
Work in the
making
field.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
my
No, but maybe
job.
they're not asking for themselves. Maybe they're asking
Yeah.
for generally for other people, which makes sense. Okay, so it has been an hour and a half. What we have not shown today yet is the pages that you did last
Oh,
week.
yeah. Okay.
So we're gonna
First
go
of all,
over.
this page is like this is
Oh yeah.
because it's a fall. Again,
Yeah.
it's a main theme for Helix Sky. It's the
Right.
fall.
Yes.
So this is what I
Gravity.
managed to do.
I love the
Yeah.
way that
This.
like I can feel the air going through the fabric of the shirt with the folds.
Oh, yeah.
You can really feel it almost looks like it's animated.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
And it's gonna have I
The
don't think
lines
it,
as well,
yeah,
right?
lines,
Because you've
the
blocked out, yeah,
white lines.
which also adds to the emotion.
Mm-hmm. I thought you were gonna say something about the blacks here because you always say you like
No,
the
I like
blacks
that.
before
I
the.
like that too. Yeah, definitely. I've just stated that so many times that I thought it was obvious by now. I like the black and white areas that don't have outlines. I think it's a really unique style that you've developed.
Yeah, I already hacked package for my art rep, but I
Is it still open or did you tape
no,
it?
it's open. It's
Okay,
open. It's still open. But
I'm not. No, I'm not sure it's. Wait, you have something here on the bottom that's stopping it.
what is it?
I
No,
don't know.
just fold.
Oh,
Just fold it. Open.
okay.
Open it.
I will. I shall.
Without
Without breaking it.
breaking.
Well, that's going to be a problem because I think it's completely shut. No, this doesn't open anymore. I think
Okay.
you have to cut it in order to open it. But if you scan the pages, we can show the scan.
How is it possible? I think it's just I think
It's like,
you're
oh, okay. I see. So it was upside down.
but now I need to change it because it's
No, we can tape the corner. It's fine. Masking tape.
okay. So last time I think it's probably these. Yeah.
Yeah, it was that. Uh-huh. These are the Helix Sky originals that also, if anyone watching is interested, definitely contact Tatiana. Her email is shown on screen during this broadcast, so you can just scroll back until you see it on the left side of the screen, the email.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I'm selling the Helix Sky ones yet.
Not yet, yeah.
But I do have a lot of pages to sell. From Age of Canaan and Bioracle, I think I have a lot of pages still from Bioracle as well. So yeah, that was last week.
I don't really know what the Pelican M1000 pen is. Maybe you know what it is, but Jillian asked if you think it's just overhyped or it's worth the price.
It's a fountain pen, right?
Yeah, it looks to be it costs around like $1,000.
I never used it.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of experience with fountain pens, and I can say that the price
Has
doesn't
nothing to do. Well,
doesn't
not
have
necessarily has anything to do.
that's a ridiculous price.
Yeah, this is
That's not
crazy. It's like it
you're
should be gold plated.
don't pay for that.
No, it's too expensive.
No.
Unless you can find a really cheap, like a cheaper version of it secondhand. No.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
pay for
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
That
I think
doesn't make any sense
the
to pay.
verdict is.
But there's a if you want a reliable fountain pen that works well and that doesn't clog almost at all, there's the Pilot. Can't remember the name of the brand, but it's one of the Pilot ones. We'll post it in the show notes afterwards.
Yeah.
It's a extra fine fountain pen. Pilot number, I think it's number 100 and something.
One of these maybe. Well, we'll leave it in the comments afterwards. So I think the point is
around the price of 100, maybe $150 would be, even that would be very expensive. But I found Pilot, they have some very good ones, but there's also cheap ones. For example, there's a company called Blue Dew. I think it's an American company, and they're not expensive at all, and they're really good. I think they're the most flexible I used, but they do get clogged sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Maybe we can start next week's live stream with you showing some of the fountain pens that are recommended. Jillian, you could stay tuned for next week. We might show like 1 or 2 pens at the beginning of.
Yeah, but I never use fountain pen, only at shows.
Right.
Because it's I don't like it. It's finicky.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of problems, and the easiest is just use a dip pen, and
yeah,
it's the best.
I guess like getting yourself used to the idea of working with a dip pen is better for illustration anyway, because you have much more control over what's happening.
No, but fountain pen is supposed to be very similar to dip pens, but if it gets clogged all the time, that it hurts the process. So I think it only works if you're not at home.
Yeah. Okay, so it was great seeing you as well. Thank you for joining us on the live stream. Hit all the buttons underneath so that the algorithm starts doing its thing.
Yeah.
Let anyone you haven't let know already that this is a thing, and share the link with them so they can tune in. And we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Goodbye.